Hey guys, it's Lily. This is my first video about my experience with the Marines, or not mine, but my boyfriend's, and my experience as being the girlfriend. So I'm just gonna get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the last few days I saw Jason, which is my recruit's name, and they were really rough, not gonna lie. I had a lot of great moments with him, like we hung out all the time, 24/7 basically, and like when we would do things that we normally do, like we'd watch movies all the time and we just like hang out at the dinner table and talk. Like I'd get emotional because I know I wasn't going to be seeing that for 3 months, which is a really long time, which is how long the boot camp is for the Marines. So yeah, those were really rough 3 days. The roughest day obviously was the last day I saw him. It was last Sunday, exactly a week and 1 day ago. And that sucked. That day was awful. I woke up at my house and I cried my eyes out. And I got ready and I had my makeup on and everything to have it. Like I was planning not to cry at all that day. I was going to make it a happy experience, and it just turned out not being that way. So it was about 10 o'clock and I went over there and they were all, his whole family was still in their pajamas and everything. And I just hung out with them and we talked. But once I saw Jason, like that morning, I was like crying like a baby. Like it was so bad. I couldn't help it. Like I didn't want to cry. Like his mom didn't want anybody to cry because it's supposed to be a happy moment, but it just was not for me. We had to go to the recruiter's office at around 1 p.m. and he just had to do some last minute paperwork stuff and explain a little bit what was going to be happening that day. So we did that, and they talked and did their whole little thing. And then he had to sign his name on the wall, like all the other recruits do before they go off to boot camp, at least at our office. For the Marines, they do that, which was really cool, and we took a ton of pictures of him doing that, and then took pictures by the flag and with his recruiter and everything, and it was great. I was okay there. I wasn't crying there. I was all good. And then we had to get in the car. We went to the bank. We got like Speedy Freezes and candy and stuff for the trip to the hotel. So yeah, we drove to the hotel and we got there and we had to go to this big room where all of the recruits were with their families, and it was a big like game room. And the recruits all had to line up, and they had to do like they did like paperwork stuff, and some lady came and she had to like tell them the rules and all this stuff. And then they had to watch a video and sign some papers. The video was like, I don't really know what it was. I have to ask Jason because I'd never ended up asking him what it was. But they had to watch like a 7-minute long video, and then they were free to go and have dinner with their families and stuff, and they just had to sign in and out of the hotel. So then we went to dinner at Giordano's. We got pizza and spaghetti and all that, and that was really nice, and I haven't cried. I still haven't cried. Then we got back to the hotel. It started to get closer. My mom was going to pick me up at 7 because we're actually going on vacation the next day, and we had to wake up really early. Our flight was at 2 in the morning. So we only had a few hours left, and we just hung out and we were playing games, and then like the last hour and a half or so, Jason decided to take me out in the hallway. There was a window and like a bench, and we sat there and we just talked about the future and like what we were gonna do, and I cried a lot and it was really sad, but I know like this is what he wants to do, and I told him that like I'm so happy. I tried smiling a lot, but I couldn't help the tears coming down my face. We went back to the game room. My parents ended up being a little bit late, so it was like they came at like 7:45, so we just hung out in the game room. I composed myself, and then I got a text from my mom saying that she was here to pick me up. So me and Jason like went, well first I said goodbye to his family, and then we went and walked down the hallway. And I don't know why, but I was like walking so fast. I was like, I don't know why, because I wanted to stay with him longer, but I was like, I felt like in such a rush to like leave for some reason. I don't really know. Jason was wondering, he's like, why are you walking so fast? Why are you walking so fast? And then I slowed down, but whatever. So then we got to the car, and then him and my family talked a little bit and like said their goodbyes, and then it was time for me and Jason to say goodbye, and he gave me a hug, and I cried like a little baby, like so much. but I could not help it, and it was like the best hug I've ever had. So then he gave me a kiss, and then he wanted to say goodbye, and then I was like, no, 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 I needed another hug. So I got another hug, and then I got in the car and I bawled my eyes out all the way home because that was the last time I was going to see him, and it was awful. Like, it was the worst feeling in the world. But the thing is, I could text him the whole night, so I did. I texted him all night. We stayed up till like 12:30 texting, which really isn't that late, but he had to get up really early the next morning, and so did I, because my flight was to 2 a.m., but it ended up getting changed and delayed, so our flight was at like 11 a.m., or it was like 11 or 11:30 or something. We stayed up until like 12:30 texting and all this stuff, and then he had to wake up at like 4 in the morning or something. So I told him, like, hey, like, I'm gonna set my alarm and you're gonna call me right when you wake up before you go and swear in. And so he did, and I woke up at like 4:23. He had to call me. He was gonna call me at 4:25. So we did that, and he did his swear in and everything. Then I left for the airport, and then his parents sent me the swear in through a video. So I have a video of that, and that was a really cool thing to watch. It was a very bittersweet moment, like knowing that he's committing his 5 years of his life to the Marines, and me not being able to see him, but I'm so proud of him. He gave me a call, we were talking, and then later on he told me he's going to call me on a payphone because he has to get his phone taken away before he goes to the airport. He would call me, and I would have to pick up, and then we would talk, and then he would call me again, he said, after the second time, and not to pick up so he can leave me a message. So he was going to call me on a payphone, and we were talking about that and everything, and then a half hour later, he gave me a text and said, this is my last text, I love you, goodbye. And then I said, please don't forget to call me, and he said he would. My plane started to board, and I didn't get that phone call yet. Well, I was already on the airplane, and we lifted off, and I just didn't get that phone call. So that was the final time I talked to him, and that was a rough day. Like, I cried a little bit on the plane, and then I didn't really cry, actually, that first day. I think I only cried at night, and then I slept with the bear he got me. It's a bear that's in, like, the Marines wear. Where is it? He gave me this guy, and so I could sleep with him, and I made him sleep with it, so it smelled like him. And then he also gave me his cologne, so I could spray him with it, so it smells like him. So yeah. So the first night at the hotel, I slept with him. Actually, I slept with him all of the nights, but I needed him the most the first night, I would say. And then the second day, I was fine. I was all good. And then the third night, I was okay too. I cried a little bit. I slept with his shirt. He gave me a shirt to wear that smelled like him, that he wore. It's dirty, but I don't know, maybe that's gross, but I wanted to sleep with it, so slept with that. And then finally the next day, it was the 24th, which was our 4-year anniversary, and that was a really crappy morning and a really crappy night for me. I basically watched homecoming videos all morning, like homecoming videos like when the military men come home, like the soldiers come home to surprise their girlfriends or their wives or their families or their parents or whatever. So I watched a billion of those and was crying, which sucked to be crying when I was out of country. I was in Punta Cana, the Dominican Republic, and it was like the best vacation ever, but I had to cry a little bit. I didn't cry too much. I didn't cry during the day because we were always doing things that kind of took my mind off of it. Writing letters, I wrote one every day. Writing letters helps. It feels like he's involved, like knows what's going on in my life, because I'm trying to explain everything. That made me feel better, especially this week. The last night there, I was like thinking about going home and knowing that he wasn't going to be there. So that was hard to think about. We went to dinner, and I was a little upset there, but I was fine. I was just a little sad, like missing him. And then we went to this like dance party thing, but it was just about to end, and like everybody was pretty much like down on the dance floor, but my family kept encouraging me to go dance because that's what I normally would do. Like, I would be out there dancing, but I just really wasn't in the mood because I was so sad. And my mom kept asking me, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's blah, blah, blah. She kept saying, like, what's wrong, like, why are you so upset? I was like, I was like, nothing, 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 because whenever people ask me, like, what's wrong, I normally will say nothing, even though if there is something wrong, but I just don't pay attention to it, because if I talk about it, I will break down and cry. Like, I wasn't going to cry, but then she kept asking me, so I needed to cry. So then I started like, okay, I'm gonna go back to the room. So I started walking back, and she followed me, and then she was like, what's wrong? Like, I just told her I miss Jason, and I'm really sad. And we sat by the pool, and we talked about it, and yeah, and she told me, like, don't worry, he's coming back. I'm like, I know he's coming back, but I'm still sad. Like, I can still be sad, I know. I didn't want to ruin vacation. Really, that was, like, the only time that I cried, like, a lot. The other two times before that I cried were, like, just a little bit, like, just a second. But yeah, and then, so yeah, and then the next day we left to come home. And then I finally got that message that he meant to send from the payphone that I thought I didn't get, but I ended up getting. And I listened to that, and it was basically just like, and I love you, and goodbye, and, but, yeah. I've been checking on the Facebook for Charlie Company, because that's his company. And I've been looking for pictures for him, but I haven't, there's pictures up, but there's none of him in it, so that sucks. And then it's just, like, keeping you posted on, like, what they're doing every day, and basically, last Friday, which was our anniversary, which sucks, they call it Black Friday, and it's like where they get to, I think they meet their DIs that day, and they do a bunch of crazy stuff and whatever, and it's like hell for them. So that sucks that was on our anniversary. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep writing to him, and I'm gonna check the Facebook like crazy for pictures. I'm gonna cuddle this thing and spray it with a lot of cologne. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna keep busy, and it'll be okay. 80 more days till family day, even though I'm not going to that as of now, because my mom won't let me, but thanks you guys for watching, and I hope this helped somebody out. Bye!